Okay, welcome to my latest experiment, this time on the Uinkit Vinyl Holographic Printable Sticker Paper. This one's a little bit more kind of a mellow, I don't know what this looks like. It's kind of a glittery type of surface on there, and you can tell that there's not a huge amount of contrast in that rainbow type of holographic patterning. And I thought it would go well with a winter scene, so we're going to be using nature set number 14 here, along with a couple of other stamps. But for the most part, the snowy covered bridge and the snowy creek here. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm doing a lot of blocking out of that holographic background with some Brilliance White pigment ink. The Brilliance is a water-based, quick-drying pigment ink that dries beautifully on the printable vinyl sticker papers I've found. It dries so fast on here, super easy to apply. You can blend out this pigment ink on there, but the thing for me is that you can go in and add colored images and go into it with colored pencils right over the top of it, and it adheres to this Brilliance ink, which is adhering to the printable vinyl and that emulsion coating that the printable vinyls have. Okay, stamping out my imagery here. You can use any type of black ink that you want, but I'm going with the Brilliance ink just because it is fast drying. I could have gone on with a VersaFine Clair here. You can see it right there on the right-hand side. I was going to use that one, but in a live stream situation, I want my inks to dry really fast. So I decided to go with the Brilliance black ink. Okay, so there's the creek right next to the covered bridge. One of the things I didn't mention is I left a little bit of the white the printable vinyl showing where that creek is. I just loosely kind of aimed the white around it. I didn't measure it or anything like that, but I just wanted some of that reflective type of holographic vinyl showing in that water section to make it look like it was reflecting the colors of the sky. Going on with the Quaking Aspen stamp here, adding in some different dye-based colors and mixing it directly on the stamp to get this multicolored impression here. And I'll use this same tree for all of the trees in here, including the background trees, just by using the top of them, that appear in the distance there to be reflective of smaller, more distant trees. Well, I shouldn't say smaller trees. They're supposed to be the same size trees, but they're just smaller because they're back in the distance. And you can see how that green color, greens and yellows, show up when stamped over that white Brilliance ink. So I'm really stamping it over the Brilliance ink more so than stamping it directly on the vinyl. I do get some of it directly on the vinyl, but where the white is, it shows a little bit more color. Going on with the Tiny Rock Small stamp here to add extra texturing to the scene and to give the scene a little bit more continuity with texture. This is the snowy little twigs here, kind of right here on the road to kind of define the side of the road, and adding some more around the creek. All right, now I thought the background needed a little bit of textural variation, so I'm adding some kind of the dead trees, the leafless pine tree there. Tried it in white, and you can't really see it too well, but you can see it at certain angles. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's like a disappearing image. Okay, my favorite aspect to the printable vinyl sticker papers and Brilliance ink combination is the ability to go into it with these colored pencils. And I feel that these colored pencils add a really nice soft element in terms of the coloring to this piece. And I just like that soft style of coloring to kind of contrast against this metallic paper, which, holographic papers are. They're kind of a metallic look, they have a metallic look to them. And again, they're holographic, and I don't know if it's foil that they are, you know. I guess it could be foil, but just with that emulsion coating on top when it comes to the printable versions of these. But I just feel that this mellow look of the colored pencils, it kind of contrasts, but also harmonizes well with those colors, that reflective type of coloring of the paper. The paper's just so, I don't know, these holographics are so kind of visually dominant that, you know, something that's a little more mellow and subdued really goes well with it. Okay, acrylic paint pens. This one is a 3mm paint pen. The brands of paint pens are all listed in the description sections underneath these videos. Just click show more, adding in some of these little what represents fallen leaves on the snowy surface down below. So I've added it into the trees. Going for a little bit more contrast by adding some white into the trees, and you can see where I'm kind of clustering my little white dots. I try to apply it in a somewhat irregular manner so that it doesn't kind of fall under kind of a more pattern type of approach to, I guess in this case it's lighting, because it's a light on darker application. Okay, now my snowy terrain down below. Some of that holographic paper is showing through, and even though the Brilliance ink is white, it's a little bit more transparent. It's translucent, but you know, you get some of the colors of the paper showing through. So adding in a whiter white with the acrylic paint pen here, going on the rooftop. I don't know if you can see it there, but the rooftop's a little bit more white now with the acrylic paint pen. Going along the shoreline of the creek, adding kind of a stronger white edge. You know, it doesn't contrast a huge amount against the Brilliance ink, but it just provides a little bit more, kind of brightness, lightness for sure, but it just, I don't know, it makes things look a little bit more dimensional. Okay, the 0.7mm acrylic white paint pen, adding in some trunks and some branches into these trees. It kind of gives them a little bit more structure, and they look more representative of the type of trees they are that would have a kind of white bark to them. All right, now, like I was mentioning in the live stream, I know that these trees would be bare if there was like snow and we're deep in winter. I'm just, you know, this is artistic liberties. It's just saying, well, maybe there was some first snow of the year or something like that and it fell, or an early snow came in the fall or something like that. I just think that those colors look really nice with this snowy terrain. Okay, now changing or expanding on the texture, lighting, and I guess visual depth of the scene, adding in a very thin layer of the white pigment ink over the tops of forms. Remember, this is the same white pigment ink that created those clouds in the background on this sticker paper. Now I'm adding it in front of some of the images, so it kind of envelops the images in this kind of illuminated fog, and it gives it more dimension, and it makes certain things look softer to contrast against the sharp elements. Going in and adding in some additional sharper details, adding in some of the flock here, or the gulls. I say some of them because I didn't stamp out one of them. Going over a couple of those birds, making some of them a little bit lighter than the others to add distance into that. And there you have it. There's my scene. Hope you enjoyed it. Vinyl sticker paper is really fun. Look at those colors that kind of reflect through some of that snow and in the water and in the sky. Really fun to play around with and to work with this combination of media. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you on the next video.